So today is September 24th, and we're going to talk a little bit today about physical changes and chemical changes. Physical changes means that the item has not turned into a totally different substance. When I think about water going with our heat added and heat taken away, it's in its rudimentary form, it's still water. It's ice, it's liquid, it's steam. It's still water. How we manipulated it changed. However, its true substance has not really been altered. So with physical changes, you might change the shape, you might change the size, you might even change how it looks, but it is still at its base the same piece of thing. So I could take a piece of paper, I could fold it, and just because I'm changing the shape does not mean that it's still not paper. I could take this paper and I could tear it and put it into this little container. Just because I'm shredding it or tearing it does not make it any less than paper. It's just a different look. It's just a different form. Now, that's all physical changes are. You change how something looks, but it is still a potato. It's still paper. Now, I have potatoes on my mind because I'm thinking about potatoes. Now, I can peel potatoes at home, and there's every one of you sitting here that have family that peels potatoes. Your parents might cut them up, or your mama will cut them up into cubes because she's going to boil them. She might slice them long ways to fry in a pan. But that is still a potato. Now, just like this is still paper. But if I want this paper to go through a chemical change, what would I need to do to it? I have to add another element to it to get it to go through the change. So in this instance, my element is going to be fire. If I can make my match light. So when I add fire to the paper and I let it burn, it is no longer just paper. It is turning into ash. And I probably need to do that again where you can see it. So as I'm setting the paper on fire, I'm adding something to it. It is going through a chemical change because I've added a whole nother element to it. I cannot make it, no matter how hard I try, go back to being paper. It's turning into a whole new product. Now I'm going to put some water on it. Oh, there, it's catching fire good. And you can see it's turning black, and that black is ash. So it's totally gone through a chemical change at this point. There's nothing that I could have done that could have taken that ash and made it back into paper again. Now, before that, I'd ripped it up. If I wanted to try to make that a full piece of paper again, I could have. I could have taped it together. I could have done a variety of things, but it was still paper. It just went through a physical change. When I added another substance, that's where the chemical change comes in. Paper, a quality of paper is it's flammable, that flammability, which means it will catch on fire. Fire is the substance that I added. Now, I kind of want to go back to that potato thought. So I've got my potatoes sliced, or I've grated them on a grater. I'm going to make hash browns. All three of those different types are still potatoes. Cubes, French fried long, and grated. It's still a potato. But there's a difference that takes place when I go to cook them. When I add another substance to it, that's when a chemical change takes place. So when I add oil to my pan to make hash browns, and then I put the hash browns in there, And as it cooks, it changes that quality from just a raw, straight potato to now I've got a hash brown potato. When I drop those French fried lengthwise potatoes, if I bake them in the oven, I'm adding heat. I'm changing it. But most of the time, we're going to fry them. So once again, I'm using oil. And when I do them in that oil, that is when a chemical change takes place. Now let's think about those cubed potatoes we're going to boil. Well, you're thinking, I'm just adding water. Well, you are just adding water at first. And you're adding salt. Once you get done boiling them, you're going to add milk. And you're going to add butter. And probably a little pepper. Some people might add a little garlic. So you've added things to it that totally changed it. I can't take those items out. I can't take the butter, I can't extract the butter back out of that potato. Just like I can't take the oil out of the hash browns. So when you add those items in, that's when you get that chemical change taking place. Short video today, guys. So you probably want to make sure that you get your questions answered today. There are a couple of notes that I added in yesterday's that I wanted you to add to your journal, and there'll be a couple that I want you to add to your journal today as we're getting close to a test day. I want you to start studying those. Quizlet, guys, I'm noticing a slowdown on Quizlet. We need to pick that back up. That's probably on my part. I didn't think I had to mention it every single day, but apparently I do. So 10 minutes minimum on Quizlet. Getting ready for a quiz tomorrow. So you might want to kind of look at it so that you're ready. And I guess that's all. Bye.